Hey guys, welcome back to this Orbiter 2016 video series. This is Tex, and this will be part 7, in which we will conclude our rescue flight. So here we are in the XR2. We're up here in geosync orbit still. In the previous part we had a bit of a sketchy landing back at Edwards Air Force Base in the XR5. Turns out that the elevation is a little off, so the runway was just a bit bumpy, for lack of a better term. But once again, I believe Martin is working on that, so for the time being, we're going to say it worked. At least we were able to land haphazardly in one piece, and sadly, though, we did discover the crew had perished when we got up here. So our two Air Force guys got the XR5 back, and the classified material is now secure. We need to complete the mission and return our XR2 back to Cape Canaveral. So let's jump in and get started. Alright, we need to turn the APU on. A nose cone is still open from when we were docked. Strobe on, beacon on. Rotation, power up our MFDs. Let's go down here. We have plenty of locks. We could dump some, but I'll leave it alone. Plenty of APU, and we should have enough fuel to do this. Alright, nose cone is closed. Turn that off. Let's go to the glass cockpit. And actually, you know what? Forgot. Let me turn on orbit HUD. I think that'll do it. Alright, let's open up burn time MFD. Looks like we have just over 2,000 kilometers per second in Delta V. Again, we'll use most of that just to deorbit from this altitude. We're up here pretty high, about 35 kilometers. If we open the map MFD, it's the same situation with the XR5. We're just orbiting in this one region here, so we're not going to get a solution on base sync for getting over to Cape Canaveral until we lower our altitude, and we're not going to be able to really maneuver around in orbit because we don't have the fuel to do that. So we're just going to go ahead and lower our altitude to 70 kilometers just like we did before. And I will use the interplanetary MFD for that. So hit menu, use the map program, projection, and let's orient the vessel retrograde. Save a little bit of fuel by doing it ourselves. Alright, that'll work. Let me hit retrograde. Let the ship settle there. Okay, we're settled retrograde, and we are ready to burn. So, burning the main engines. Pretty cool view there. Watch periapsis.
Warning, main fuel low. System
Control W resets that alarm. We know the main fuel is low. Alright, there's 8,000 kilometers on our periapsis. 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. Let's begin pulling back on the throttle. We don't want to overshoot. 600, 500, 400, 300, 200, 100. Alright, that'll work. Let's use linear RCS. Translate forward until we get that to 70. Oh, that's close enough. Alright, so we've got some coasting to do. So we can sit back and enjoy the view. I'll time accelerate as we coast down to our periapsis here. Looks like we're going to have an orbital sunset view here in just a moment. pan us around there. We're at 1,000 times, and we'll go to 100, 10. Nice view of the orbital sunset there. And you can begin to see some lights over here, cities and stuff on the other side. There is the sun. Very cool, I like that. Alright, let's time accelerate a bit more. So we're at 100 times at the moment. Very cool. Let's see, what are we, what's that underneath of us? Just curious. Let's do orbit plane. Okay. Track, zoom. Oh, okay, so we're over Saudi Arabia. That's cool. Alright, we're already seeing orbital sunrise again. Alright, while I have map open, let me just target Cape Canaveral. Okay, that's done. Alright, let's start getting things ready to go. Let's do base sync over here again and target Cape Canaveral. Alright, there we go, and change that to 1. Ooh, 7,800 kilometers off plane. So our periapsis is here. The base is over here, we are here, so we can make this work without having to glide all the way around the planet. I'm sure there's a way to calculate this as far as when to do your deorbit burn up here. Well, I know there is, but I don't know how to do it. Maybe Dimitri or someone would be able to shed some light on that. But I think that'd be a whole nother video on itself. So we're gonna go with this. We can make this work. So let's go with glide slope, and let's set up our hack for Cape Canaveral. Let's do runway 33. Yeah, runway 33. Okay. Mode to the hack, and let's do left open. There we go. Alright, so let's do our load MFD over here. UNI LOA puts our G loading up there. We can monitor during re-entry, and for now we can go back to orbit there. Back to our panel view. Let's go down to the bottom panel. Let's transfer more fuel over here in RCS. We'll get it up to about 40%. That's more than enough for re-entry, but just to be safe, it's more useful here than in the main tank. If we have anything left over there, that's fine. Alright, we have a little bit over there, no big deal. Alright, let's go rotation RCS, and let's get our attitude hold autopilot set up, except this time let's not do something stupid and set it up negative. We want positive. We'll go with 45 degrees. Okay. Upper panel looks good. Of course, re-entry check will show our radiator is deployed. So we will stow that when we get a little bit lower. And finally, let's open external MFDs. Let's do the same thing over here, but this time, I'll tell you what, because aero brake isn't really useful for us initially, I will go ahead and set it up. Let's target Cape Canaveral. Alright, and then for now, let's put base sync over here. Maybe that's easier for you guys to see than down here. Target. Change number of orbits to 1. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we can have our distance to the base we'll be monitoring here, and our off-plane distance that we need to close down. That's certainly huge, but we'll make it happen. And over here we'll do surface because we do have wings. This the ship is going to really want to climb and skip out of the atmosphere if we don't monitor our vertical speed very closely during this aero capture maneuver, which is essentially what we're doing. We're technically captured by Earth's gravity of influence, but it's similar to that maneuver, so I'm not going to use the autopilot initially, same as in the XR5. So we did pretty good overall. We're only at 2 days and 7 hours 27 minutes on our elapsed mission timer, so we should be home before long. Alrighty, I think we're ready to go. Let's continue coasting down to entry interface, about 110 kilometers. And that's when we'll put up a radiator. Do our final re-entry check. Okay, there's 110. Let's turn on the APU. Alright, let's stow the radiator. And you'll notice the nose of the vessel is beginning to fall as we fall into the atmosphere. It's no problem. Radiator is put up. Let's turn off the APU for right now. Okay, so we're going to watch for our apoapsis. It's quickly approaching over here. And as that approaches, we're just going to very carefully monitor our vertical speed and keep from skipping out of the atmosphere. So we need to turn orbit normal in order to reduce this off-plane distance. So if we were flying straight, level, right side up in the atmosphere, orbit normal would be banked over to the left, which we already are, as this is traditional prograde position. That's the position we were already oriented, so we're good to go. We don't have to do anything like that. Once we get down into the atmosphere here, I'm going to put the center of gravity back, move it towards the rear of the ship more. In fact, I'm going to do that right now, because here comes our periapsis. So let's do one click.
Information.
And let's roll over a little bit.
70%.
So I want to descend down to around 65 kilometers in this instance, because we need to bring that off-plane distance down so much that if I get down into a little bit more of the atmosphere, it'll make it easier to bring that off-plane distance down. Alright, let's not descend quite so much. Let's do one more click of center of gravity shift, and we can turn off the APU now. So that will, we get the center of gravity shift set, which you have to have the APU on to adjust, and then it'll stay there. And that just makes it so I don't have to sit here and hold the stick back. So it lifts the nose up and helps us turn. And you can see that off-plane distance is reducing. So we obviously need to get that off-plane distance down to 0 or as close to it as we can, so that we're heading directly over toward the base. If we take a look at the map MFD, you can see we're about to cross over the Bering Sea area, the Aleutian Island chain. But if I zoom out, I mean, look how far off our orbital plane is. We need to get that over here, way over there. So it's massive, but we can do it. Just monitor my vertical speed and just slowly come down to about 65 kilometers. So we will bring the off-plane distance down and scrub a little bit of this velocity. So when we're about 5,000 kilometers from the base, ideally I'd like to have my velocity just under 8,000 meters per second, around that range. And we'll go ahead and activate the attitude hold autopilot at that point. Re-entry action there. Get back inside and monitor our vertical speed here. Don't want to descend too quickly. So hull temperatures are in the green, nothing to worry about there. And our distance to the base is right at about 8,000 kilometers. Off-plane distance is down to 5,500 kilometers. And we have the vessel relatively balanced at the moment. You can see our vertical speed is nice and low. Pretty much just cruising up here at 65 kilometers. We are scrubbing a little bit of speed, but more importantly, we're bringing down that off-plane distance. And you can see how much altitude we've lost on our apoapsis. It was up around 35 kilometers at geosync orbit, and now it's under 10. 35,000 kilometers at geosync orbit, now it's under 10,000 kilometers. It's at 9,000 at the moment. That's of course going to happen as we scrub more speed over here. Okay, distance to the base is now just under right at 7,500 kilometers, and our off-plane distance is 4,300 kilometers. Looked like we were just crossing over the Aleutian Island chain down there below us. Making some progress here. Distance to the base is 7,000 kilometers, and our off-plane distance is just about under 3,000 kilometers, so that's good. Everything's looking good. Okay, off-plane distance is now to 2,000 kilometers, so it's coming down nicely. Distance to the base is 6,500 kilometers to go. Our distance to the, our off-plane distance rather, is just now fixing to drop under 1,000 kilometers. So it's getting much more reasonable. At this point, I'm probably going to go ahead and get ready to turn the APU on. And let's get rid of a little bit of this center of gravity. Move it just forward one click. Click more. Let's go ahead and go over to the surface HUD now. Okay, so our off-plane distance has really come down there. Let's center our center of gravity there. We're at 5,800 kilometers to the base, so I want to get this distance to about 5,000 kilometers or so before I roll over right side up and activate the attitude hold. So we'll just glide this out for about 700 more kilometers. So I can turn this off for just a moment. Turn the APU on. Alright, let me just put a little bit of center of gravity shift in and get that distance to the base a little bit closer. Okay, that's center. That's good. Alright, let's roll over. Let's get some negative vertical speed before we activate the attitude hold autopilot. Because when we do that, the vessel's going to really climb very quickly. Just do a loop. Okay. And hit L. There we go. So we're going to climb initially here because we turned right side up. Let's go to aero brake and look at our predictions.
24.
Let's try not to get too much vertical speed here. Okay. So you can see our vertical speed really popped up there. But we'll bring that back down. And let's see here. We'll go to this view.
Mach 23.
And that's not really useful at the moment. Let's go back over here. Okay, let's pitch down a little more. Alright, so the yellow line here is indicating the location of the base. Of course, the gray circle is the Earth, and this is our flight path, our trajectory coming down. And where we would hit the ground here is representing, the gray line is what that's representing. So if I pitch down, you can see that I'm extending the length of our trajectory so that our energy takes us over to the base. We don't fall short of the base. So we'll pitch down to do that, or pitch up. If you're going to overshoot the base, you could pitch up a bit. Okay. I'm also watching my vertical speed at the moment. We don't want to let it climb really too much there, so let's just get back down.
Mach 22.
And I think I need to be turning a bit more. We're missing the base by like 65 kilometers there, so yeah, need to be turning over to the left a bit. So you can see in this view here, you have obviously the map here. This is the base, Cape Canaveral. Here's a zoomed in view of the base. And as my trajectory extends out to the base, you can get it so your trajectory takes you right to the base, and it ends right there at the base. So that's another view that you have here on the Aerobrake MFD, but I personally prefer this one here. Alright, so we pretty much coasted up here to a pretty high altitude. We need to go ahead and get down before we get over to the base there. So here we are up here, about to get into the central part of the States. Let's go back to surface.
Mach 21.
And we can zoom in quite a lot here to look at our projection. So right now it shows our energy is going to take us past the base, but I'm just watching my vertical speed. I don't want that to get too crazy. And I can use Alt and the number 2 and 8 on the keypad to adjust my attitude hold pitch by 0.5 degree at a time. Pitch up a little bit to bring that closer. Let's go ahead and bank over a little bit more and close down that off-plane distance.
Mach 20.
Alright, we are 2,800 kilometers from the base at the moment. And the more you bank, you'll have to adjust your pitch. You'll notice as I banked over more, it moved our projection to where we were falling short of the base. So if I pitch down just a little bit, I can compensate for that that loss of lift on the wings there. So that's extending our projection out a little bit further over to the base. And our off-plane distance is down to 20 kilometers there, so we can reduce some of this bank. And let's pitch up a little bit as well as we do that. Okay, we are 2,400 kilometers from the base. Let's go ahead and open the glide slope MFD over here. So we have our hack and stuff ready to go. So the little arrow right here is telling me the direction I need to go to the hack. We want to keep that arrow right in the center, so we're heading directly toward the hack. Alright, so we need to pitch down just a little bit. Try to keep that gray line there on the Aerobrake MFD laying right on top of the yellow line. And then make sure we get all the way to the base. So we are 2,200 kilometers from the base. We have plenty of distance, plenty of velocity. We're doing good. Let me take a quick look at the map MFD here. So see where we are here. So I need to turn to the right just a little bit to keep our off-plane distance close to the base. So we'll just do one click over of bank. So that was number 6 on the key numpad there. Little external view. And there we go. There we go, re-entering. So this is much better, a proper re-entry profile, like I was talking about with the Delta Glider. If you watch my tutorial series, how the default Delta Glider is not capable of doing this, and the XR series is. You know, it has the center of gravity shift, which is a really cool thing. So it uses that to help you maintain a proper angle of attack. And it just makes this whole process much more predictable, much smoother, much more realistic. Take a look at this page view here. Let's see, I think it's page projection. Yeah, there you go. So it's kind of a cool view too. Hit mode. And you can see where you are here, and again a zoomed in view of the base and where our trajectory is taking us. So this is cool because it takes into account your off-plane distance as well as your energy state. So you can see, you know, if you're right of the base, you need to turn over to the left, or if your trajectory is taking you past the base and you have too much energy, so you need to increase your angle of attack, pitch up. And if it's falling short of the base, you decrease your angle of attack, pitch down, and you adjust all of that just to keep your projections here so that you're essentially hitting the base. So this is definitely a very handy view to have. I do prefer this one generally because you can monitor this for your energy state, and you can zoom in so much like this, and you can see exactly where your energy is taking you. But it does require you to monitor something like the base sync MFD or the glide slope MFD for the delta azimuth to the hack, so that you make sure that your off-plane distance is staying within reason, so that you make sure that you get over to the base in that respect. Alright.
Mach 14.
Zoom out on the hack there. Or too far really to see that yet. I'm going to turn a little bit more to the left here. Our off-plane distance was climbing up 15 kilometers there. I just pan the camera down so at least you can see a little something instead of just looking up into the blackness of space. And let me pitch down a little bit. When I banked over, our prediction was having us fall short of the base.
Mach 13.
Alright, everything's looking pretty good. Just a little pitch up there.
Mach 12.
Alright, our off-plane distance has come back down to a nice low number there. I think if I level off, if I go back to bank hold at 0, it's probably going to count back up. So what I may have to do is just take it a little bit past 0 that direction. Yep, that's what's going to happen. No big deal. We'll just keep banking over to the left a little bit, and we'll take it past 0, and then that way when we level off near the base, it'll essentially be aiming right at the base, if you will.
Mach 11.
Let's pitch down just a bit. Okay, we're currently 800 kilometers from the base. We're getting very close now. Our energy state on the aero brake MFD looks good. I'm not getting any data here on the hack yet. Let me make sure everything's set. Runway 33, okay. Let's try reset. Oh, there we go. We went right. We're doing left closed, and we went left open. There we go. Now we're getting some data there. I'm not sure why that happened, but you can see we would fly like this and then hook around, make a left turn, and land. So we do need to turn over to the right a little bit to follow that hack. So we'll do that. Zoom in. We'll just follow this arrow over here to the hack. Pretty cool. Alright, let's pan down again. So let's increase our bank angle to get over there to the hack. Pitch down a bit to compensate for that.
Mach 9.
Okay, there we go. Hack's at 3 degrees. Maybe hard for you guys to see on the screen. I know it's small. 2.8 degrees. Alright, we don't need base sync here anymore. We can go surface there. Close that MFD. Okay, that's looking better.
Mach 8.
Alright, we are, let's see, 374 kilometers till hack entry. We're just about in line with the hack there. Okay, let's bank over to the left. And one more click.
Mach 7.
Back to 0. Should be able to see the base pretty soon down there. Oh, I see it up there. It's up there. Alright, let's fix our view there. And we can zoom in a bit more here. Alright, so we need to bank a little bit to the right. And we need to pitch up just a little bit because our energy state there on the aero brake MFD has us going just past the base. Of course, we do need to fly the hack, so we want to have a little bit of extra energy, but not too much.
Mach 6.
Okay, let's pitch up a bit more. Pitch down. Let me get the joystick moved over here and ready. Alright.
Mach 5.
Need to pitch down just a little bit. We're just about to the point where we're not going to need re-entry, the aero brake MFD anymore. Zoomed in all the way there. Okay, let's begin pitching down a little bit.
4.
We'll zoom in a little more on the hack here. And you can see the runway right here in green at the end, so essentially the plus signs here is telling us where our trajectory is taking us. So we're going to fly around like this, loop around, and land right here at the end. If everything goes as planned,
Mach 3.
alright, we are 60 kilometers to the hack. hop out and take a look. Alright, so see, there's the runway down there. We're going to just loop around and land. So we'll be turning the autopilot off here in just a moment.
Mach 2.
Alright, let's slowly begin to pitch down. We can ditch aero brake, just declutter a bit. And looks like we're pretty much in the hack entry. We're under 30 kilometers to hack entry. Let's begin pitching down. Let me hop over to this cockpit view. Alright, L, disable the autopilot, rotation off, and set trim to 0. Alright, here we go.
Information. APU fuel 50%.
See if we can make the hack just a little smaller. There's the runway over there.
Subsonic.
So it says here our optimum altitude should be 13.8 kilometers. I'm a little under that target, so I'm going to just cut the corner over here to the runway. Let's take a look. Yep, we'll just cut that corner over there. Should be good. So we're 33 kilometers in range till touchdown. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is move the surface MFD over here. Power that one down. We're close enough now, I should be focused on the runway. So we'll complete this base leg and turn over here to final. Take a quick look outside. Oh, that looks incredible. Bit hazy today. So as we fall below the cloud layer, that'll improve. Alright, let's go ahead and get down here for final approach. Let's ditch this altitude, and we can use the speed brake if we need to.
5,000.
Just deploy the speed brake. Okay.
4,000.
Oh, sort of crabbing it in here. The atmospheric wind effects always seems to be
3,000.
very crosswindy here. Get over there.
2,000. You are cleared to land.
Oh, once again, about 500. We'll drop the gear.
1,000. 900. 800.
If we get lined up here.
600. 500.
Okay, gear's coming down.
400. 300. Warning, gear is gear down and locked. 200.
Pre-flare.
100. 75. 50. 30. 20. 10. 6. 3. 1. Wheels down.
Alright, wheels down. Let's apply the brakes. Bring her to a stop here. Takes a bit.
$100 knots.
Alright, looks like we got this. Hey, who turned the runway lights off? That's not nice. Okay, wheel stop.
Wheel stop.
Parking brakes on. And go over here. Let's turn off AF control. APU off.
Using
External cooling on. Let's see. Power everything
External
down.
cooling online.
Lights off. Alright, we're looking good. Well, let's see. Let's turn the HUD off. We're at 2 days and 8 hours on our mission elapsed timer. So that's not too bad from the time we left. We managed to get the XR back at Edwards Air Force Base. And we made it back here to Cape Canaveral safely. And much better landing than at Edwards. Wow, that was definitely a fun flight to do. It turned out to be very challenging, but that was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed creating it. I'll have to think of an idea for another one. This was a lot of fun, so we'll have to do something similar, or some other scenario-driven video seems to be really enjoyable. Alright guys, listen, I really appreciate you following along as usual. We are here, we are back, and that will end this series. Be sure to subscribe for updates for more to come. And as always, thank you for leaving me your comments and telling me what you thought. And we will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.